Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, she's a fashion stylist and personal shopper. You're going to meet the great Laura Fedock next on the Jeff Crilley Show.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, let's talk about dressing to impress. These days, it's so business casual, and some people will show up at work in a T-shirt. But the truth is that when you look good, you feel good, and that's why I invited in my next guest. Laura Fedock is in the studio. She's a personal stylist,
Hi.
Personal shopper, fashionista, and wardrobe consultant. Thanks for coming on the show.
I'm so delighted to be here.
Likewise. Well, you have great energy, but I want to start at the very beginning. So how did this start for you? Were you always kind of a fashion person? Were you dressing up your Barbies as a little girl?
Well, there is a really hilarious story. When I was 3 years old, I grew up in Kingwood, Texas, which is near the Woodlands. And there was a boutique that all the moms would go to, and they'd get the outfits with the matching bows and everything. And my mom brought home an outfit, and she said, "Laura, isn't this beautiful?" And my words were, "That's ugly. I'm not wearing that." And my mom goes, "Excuse me?" She goes, "What do you mean?" I was like, "I'm not wearing that." And she said, "Well, how about I take you with me to Apple Tree Kids, you pick it out, and then that's what you'll wear." And I said, "Okay, sounds like fun." So in hindsight, if my mom knew I would made a career out of this, it would have made it easier.
That's amazing. That's kind of a gift from God, isn't it?
It is.
And then you went to Texas Tech. Tell us about college, and what did you study?
So broadcast journalism, French minor, advertising minor, and creative writing. I did a couple internships in television, started out in sports with Emily Jones, who's now with Fox Sports Southwest. And then I transferred over to news. I realized it wasn't creative enough for me, and that's when I started taking classes in advertising. But in hindsight, I realized just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. Yes. I'm not meant to be behind a computer all day doing graphic, video, web design, 3D videos. I can do those things. I've been editing photos and cropping things on Adobe Photoshop since I was 5. My mom was a computer programmer. That just was second nature. So when I moved to Dallas 18 years ago is when fashion happened.
Outstanding. We're going to pull up your website. I want to talk about the clients that you like to work with. So what's an ideal client for Laura?
So people know me for the public figures, the professional athletes and celebrities, but it really is that big family. It's that mom and dad that are both working full time. A lot of times they're entrepreneurs. They have 4 or more kids. They're needing help with everything. Their parents, their daughter-in-law, their kids, those kids, their dogs, everything.
Yeah. And we all kind of get in a rut. You know, I'm speaking for myself. There was a time when I had the TV news look, and then I went to kind of a upscale shirt look, and now I'm back to kind of an open collar look. But we get in ruts, don't we? And so
Absolutely.
When you're working with a client for the first time, are you like, what does the process look like?
So usually it's referral only. Now, if there are people that find me through this show, then obviously they're vetted. But I will send them an initial client questionnaire. We'll go over that over the phone or in person. If it's a professional athlete, I can usually read them like a book because I've worked with one of their teammates or I know their agent. And then we make sure that it's a good fit for both of us, because at the end of the day, it's people working with people and it's an exchange of energy. And we want to make sure that my lighthearted, fun self, because after all, this is fashion. It's not brain surgery. Make sure that, number one, they're a nice person.
Yeah.
I've been doing this so long, I don't help anybody who's not nice.
I
want it to be fun because it should be.
Yes. And you have a very colorful background, including a health setback.
Yes.
And Tiffany Blackman has a show on our network, and I found this clip of you. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Okay. Sudden, I had the most excruciating pain, and I could not get up from the chair. I got to stand up thinking, okay, the cramping, whatever, my cycle is going on. I was hunched over, and I said to my parents, I am not okay. My mom immediately told my dad, let's pack a bag. We're going to the hospital. Laura doesn't complain about pain. They have a specific test that they do. It's called a CA-125 test, which can be an indication of cancer, of endometriosis. Normal range is 0 to 25. Mine was over 370. The doctor said to me, look, we need to operate tomorrow. You have giant masses inside both ovaries. I mean, this is not a fun, glamorous topic, but it's a real thing. And nobody is talking about this because it's so personal.
Right.
But I really want to raise awareness because we have to be the biggest advocates for ourselves.
All right, give us a health update.
Well, I'm doing great. Since then, so that was an emergency procedure. Yes, I could have died. I didn't realize how serious it was at the time. Endometriosis goes undiagnosed almost 99% of the time, unless if you have an emergency situation like that. Now, if you back up, I don't know if I would do the same thing again, because if you don't have your health, you don't have anything. That story happened on a Saturday. I was dressing my first guy for the NFL draft, Nolan Smith, who won 2 championships at Georgia, who's now with the Eagles. Love him so dearly. There were a few last minute things that he needed. So number one, I didn't want to go to the hospital on the weekend because I'm thinking, well, I don't want the B team. Right. And then so we had to run to Neiman's, get a few last minute things, mail those things out on Monday. And the second that I was done, I said to my parents, okay, we can go to the hospital now.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, explain that work ethic.
Well, I mean, I had helped design this all white suit. We did red buttons with an ode to Georgia, with the Christian Louboutin red bottoms, mom, dad, everybody matching. I was supposed to go to his draft party with his manager, Nolan. Nolan has been working with Darren Hood with BT8 Management, Athletes First from day one. I was supposed to go. They had it at a big winery. I had no idea how serious this was. All I knew is that it was really bad pain that had gone overlooked for 40 years. So this was a few days after my 40th birthday.
Wow.
So I got home from Presby, Dallas, just in time to watch the draft. And he went in the first round and he got best dressed.
Wow. Okay, I tip my hat to you because like you could put yourself first, but you put your client first, even when you were, threatened with this.
Yeah, I mean, he had an after party afterwards, and the vibe was all white, going along with the white suit. And I just remember I had ordered these. There was 2 jeans in the world, this brand called Amiri that all the athletes love. And there was either one coming from France or one coming from Canada, and it randomly got held up in customs. And this is before we were dealing with any of the backups coming from Canada now.
Sure.
Yeah. So I sent him backups to me. I wasn't going to have him show up to his after party without pants on.
Wow.
There we go. So I got to be the fixer, got to be 5 steps ahead, even if I'm bleeding internally.
Laura, so much respect. We're going to pull up your Instagram page, and as we scroll down your Instagram page, I want you to talk about some of the images. So, like, when you're introducing yourself for the first time.
Yeah, that's Nolan. That's his draft look at the top.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome.
That's when he got the call from the Eagles.
Yeah.
And then you see the top right was Emmanuel Henderson. He's going to go probably round 2 of the draft. I've been helping him since his true freshman year. Met him when he was at Alabama. So I'm the only stylist in the country that officially does NIL. So that is a custom look mixed with streetwear. You'll see the middle photo, Denim and Diamonds. That's my big event, my last finale of the year. I'm doing it at Frame in Highland Park Village.
Nice.
And I'm bringing in Jason at Beverly Hills. And that's benefiting the Green Oaks Education, the Green Oaks Gators, which is a special needs school for children and young adults.
Philanthropy is a big part of who you are. Talk a little bit about that.
I was just always raised to use my platform for good. And I came up with this idea with Frame, and I'm like, you know what? Let's bring in a brand that has a worldwide presence. They do the Super Bowl ring. Everybody saw that beautiful Eagles ring, which Nolan has.
Yes.
Everybody saw the Rangers World Series ring. They have the vertical infrastructure to do everything in-house, so nothing's made in China. It's all made there. So gonna do right the week before Thanksgiving. Nobody wants to be in Highland Park Village or North Park Mall, although I will be around those times, but this is a week before Thanksgiving.
Wow, beautiful. We have a couple minutes left, so final thoughts. What do you want to leave the audience with?
I think more than anything, it's so important to unite a passion with a purpose. If you're somebody that's in college and you have a degree in sports management, that doesn't mean that you need to work for a sports agent. My degrees are broadcast journalism, French minor. That French helps when I go to Paris Fashion Week. Advertising minor in creative writing. You gotta find your strengths that are God-given, networking, treating people with so much respect, doing things without any expectation, just being kind. The world needs more of that. And saying thank you, being the bigger person.
So powerful. Laura, thank you so much for sharing your heart and your passion with us. We're going to end with her website, which is life-stylebylaura.com. The great Laura Fedock. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.